Hi, church. Have you ever seen the movie Groundhog Day? It's one of my favorites. As always, Bill Murray is nothing short of brilliant. My favorite line is when Murray's character, Phil Connors, reporting on the Groundhog Day event says, "This is one time where television really fails to capture the true excitement of a large squirrel predicting the weather." If you're not familiar with the movie, treat yourself. It's got to be streaming somewhere. The concept of the movie is that Phil, a TV weatherman, is stuck reliving the same day over and over again. I know this is an odd place to begin, but in Acts 9, it's almost what the Apostle Paul is going through. In Damascus, the disciples were afraid of him. And remember Ananias, his bold rebuttal. "Lord," Ananias answered, "I have heard many reports about this man and all the harm he has done to your holy people in Jerusalem." Now, what is that? He's afraid. He's afraid of Paul. Now, Paul's time ends in Damascus, saying there was a conspiracy among the Jews to kill him. The next section in the chapter begins when he came to Jerusalem. He tried to join the disciples, but they were all afraid of him, not believing that he was really a disciple. This section ends. He talked and debated with the Hellenistic Jews, but they tried to, wait for it, kill him. Well, actually, it ends with the believers sending Paul to Caesarea, then off to Tarsus, but you get the point. We have seen this before. The followers of Christ were afraid of him. Those who were opposed to Christ tried to kill him. And talk about a warm welcome to Christianity. But then again, who promised a warm welcome? When the Lord appeared to Ananias, he told him, "Go. This man is my chosen instrument to proclaim my name to the Gentiles and their kings and to the people of Israel. I will show him how much he must suffer for my name." And Paul was promised suffering. Now, this is important. I hope none of you think that Paul's suffering was in part to expiate his guilt for his role in persecuting the church. As in, okay, Paul, you're forgiven, but your road is going to be harder than everyone else's because you know what you've done. If that was the case, that means Christ didn't take all of our sins on himself at the cross. It would mean he took some and we bear some. That is not Orthodox Christianity. Jesus paid it all. I think many in our day, had we faced what Paul faced, we would have said, "That's it. I'm out. I'm done. I didn't sign up for this." We look at Paul as if his life is the outlier, thankful that normal Christians don't suffer like that. But it's ours, 21st century Christians living in America, that are the outliers. You could make the point that Paul faced more difficulties, more trials and suffering than the other apostles, more than the early Christians or even Christians throughout the ages. But then we're saying that it was a suffering, the difference was one in quantity, not in kind. In John 21, Jesus told Peter, "Verily, truly, I tell you, when you were younger, you dressed yourself and went where you wanted. But when you are older, you will stretch out your hands, and someone else will dress you and lead you where you do not want to go." John adds, Jesus said this to indicate the kind of death by which Peter would glorify God. Then he said to him, "Follow me." That was specifically for Peter. But as we read through the New Testament, suffering seems to be inextricably tied to following Jesus. If you're skeptical, remember Jesus' words in Matthew 16. Then Jesus said to his disciples, "Whoever wants to be my disciple must deny themselves, take up their cross, and follow me." Now, I don't think we need to seek out suffering, but a readiness, a willingness to suffer for the sake of the gospel is an authenticating sign of our discipleship. Not only that, God can use it as a tool to deepen and mature our faith, to mature our discipleship. I'm not saying that in 2022 we should intentionally be seeking suffering. But maybe it would be fair for us to regularly ask ourselves, are there things that are easier for me today? Because of an accommodation I've made to the gospel, an avoidance of suffering, I failed to speak up. I've hid my faith. I pray that for us in 2022, that for our church, that we would be intentional to take up our cross daily. and faced with faithfulness and obedience, whatever call God might be placing on our lives. God bless, church.